Hey everybody, welcome to Old T Roy Cooks, and appreciate you joining us for another live Tuesday chat. If it's your first time here, this is where I answer your questions, and today's is a live chat. I alternate every week, so next week will be a taped one, this week's a live one. If you got questions, put them in the chat, and if you're watching this after the fact, after it's already over, just put your question in the comments section, because I take comment sections from the last two videos, last two chat videos, and I'll put them into a taped chat in the future. So leave me your questions either in the chat live or in the comments section. And if you're not familiar, I also do cooking videos on Thursdays. So hope y'all check that out. It's barbecue season, so I'm doing quite a bit of barbecue stuff. But I still occasionally cook inside. How's everybody doing out there, man? I got to thank Bill Blasky. He's already put a question in there. I think he showed up about 10-15 minutes before the show even started. And Simone's in there too. I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry, Alessandro Simone. There you go. So, yeah, Bill was asking. Let's get started right off the clock here. Oh, hang on. I got to show you my beverage of choice today. Hang on, Bill. One of my fans told me about this on taped chat last week. I think his name was Gary. I think it was on last week's chat. But, anyway, Gary, I believe. He's in the Austin area, and a fan of mine. He said, Troy, you ever tried the Live Oak? What is it, Big Bark? And I was like, no. So Live Oak Brewery, right here in Austin, Texas, they make this Big Bark lager. And this is a amber lager, a Vienna style lager. And I don't think it lists the ABV on here. Yeah, it does too. It's 4.9%. So anyway, Gary, this one's for you, bud. Appreciate you telling me about these. I've already had some. And it's the first one today, but I've already tasted these. They are really good. I like that they're not too hoppy, so cheers, everybody. Yeah, cheers to you, Ryan. Cheers to you, Indie Smokehouse Barbecue. All right, guys, we're going to get to Bill's question here. Bill Blasky asked about my Yoder Wichita, my offset. He's asked what kind of burner was in there, my fire starter, basically. And Bill, I had that installed over at Yoder when they were putting the pit together. So I'm not sure what brand burner it is. It looks honestly like a regular gas burner you would find in your gas grill. You know, it's this one was just a straight rod, you know, with some holes in it. Let the gas out, and you light that baby up. It ran off propane. The one I've got in the Lone Star grills is a little bit different. It's actually just a pipe that's coming out of the lower end of the firebox on the inside towards the cooking chamber, and it only sticks out about that far on the inside of the box, so it doesn't really block the wood or anything, and doesn't take up much room in the firebox. And you just light that, you know, turn the gas on and light it, and it shoots fire to where you have the logs put in the firebox. But on the Yoder, yeah, I had them install that. That was an option that you could have them include in your build of your pit. Honestly though, I bet you could go into one of your local lumber stores, or like home convenience stores, or whatever you call it. Anyway, you can go get you one of them just generic burners and put in your pit. You know, you may want to have some feet on it, so lift it off the bottom of your firebox just a little bit, let some airflow get around in there, and then build your fire up around that. You know, put your wood around that and light that baby up, and it'll get your wood going. I love it myself. I use that one in the Yoder and the one here in the Lone Star Grill all the time. It's a very good addition in my opinion. All right, got questions? Hit me. And I see Professor's in the house. Cheers to you, Professor. Appreciate you joining in, man. Folks, y'all give it up. All the people that are in the blue highlights with their names, those are my moderators. I got to thank each one of them for always joining in and taking care of the chat, because we get a bunch of people flying through here, man, I'll tell you. Dwayne, I see you in there. Kevin Watkins in the house. Small Town Barbecue, what's up, brother? K-Town Fishing, Afghanistan, cool, man. Cheers. Ken Wyman, how you doing, bro? Ryan Tarpey's asking a favorite bourbon. Man, I don't really drink, bourbon whiskey. I don't really drink a whole lot, not the hard stuff like that anyway. Only when my buddy Ryan and Evan show up from Whiskey and Barbecue. So whatever they happen to bring over, that's what I'll drink. Chris Fitzgerald, all the way from Jersey Shore. Cheers to you, Chris. Marky Big Smoke, how'd you get into barbecuing in the first place? What's your favorite steak and how do you prefer to cook it and on what? Cheers from London. Man, that's a bunch of questions, Marky. All right. I got into barbecue because I moved to Texas, all right, to Austin. I actually grew up in the Baton Rouge area, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, so a lot of Cajun food all around, and just soul food, greens with, mustard and turnip greens with some cornbread, some pot liquor in there. Red beans and rice and sausage, whatever we could catch out of the river, pretty much we would eat. Whatever we can shoot out of a tree, we would eat. Like turtle stew, squirrel stew, plenty of dove and stuff like that. But man, when I moved out here to Austin, and I went to some of the barbecue places around here. I'd never really had barbecue. I'm living in Louisiana. When I thought barbecue, I'm thinking like just cooking hot dogs and hamburgers on your charcoal grill or something, or gas grill. I thought that was barbecue, but boy, was I wrong. So getting brisket and pork butt and beef ribs, all that out here, really turned me on. I was like, man, I think I can do better than what I'm eating out in the restaurants. So I learned. I started watching YouTube videos, watching some of the people that were doing it long before I started, and just watched how they did stuff. Did a little research, like on AmazingRibs.com. They got a lot of good info on their website, and just started tinkering around with different rubs and stuff. And I try to use local stuff if I can, local Texas-made products. But sometimes I got to venture out and get something that's really good that I can't find here in Texas. So sometimes I do buy stuff that's like in Oklahoma or Missouri, Tennessee, North Carolina, that kind of thing. So I really got to where I enjoyed cooking barbecue. My son was moving out of the house, and when he did that, he didn't really know how to cook, so I started making videos of some of the recipes I would cook while he was growing up, putting them up on YouTube so he could check them out and learn from them on how to cook the stuff he grew up eating. And I started getting a following. I was like, ooh, this is pretty cool. I'm going to keep this going. So that's kind of how I got into YouTube. Pickles is in the house. How you doing, Pickles? Good eats with the noob. All right, Dwayne, looks like he's got a question. He says, Dwayne Ladka. Sorry about that, Dwayne. What's your favorite seafood dish from Louisiana? I'd say crawfish etouffee. That or gumbo. Both really, really good. Appreciate the question, Dwayne. Looks like Rick's in the house. Rick's Barbecue and Specialties. Welcome from, hello from San Antonio. Yeah, man, it's good meeting you, Rick. Appreciate you joining in, bro. Mike Barger, don't worry, bro. You can be late as you want, man. You can watch this anytime, man. But I appreciate you joining in live. Feel Insane. There you go, from the Republic of Ireland, Dublin. Cheers. View Grill. Chilling grilling with Rob D. Jason Strickland, when cooking brisket, do you cook it fat side up, fat side down? Which do you prefer? Jason, that's a really, really good question, man. I get it often. I really do. Depends on what cooker I'm cooking on, okay? If I'm cooking on something where the heat is beneath the brisket and the brisket's getting heat directly on the bottom, I'll put fat side down. If I'm cooking, like on my Weber Smoky Mountain, the heat comes up the sides, hits the dome, comes back down. The heat's coming from the top, even just because of the design of the cooker. So I do fat side up a lot of the time. So it really depends on where the heat's coming from. On my offset, the heat's coming in from the side, so it doesn't really matter. A lot of times I will cook fat side down though, just because the heat is coming from the bottom. Most of it's from the side, but also from the bottom. And also I can get more bark, a nice colored bark, if I cook it fat side down. So it just depends on where the heat's coming from, man, but a great question. Blue Smoke Barbecue Late Show. Howdy. Keith Bettag's in the house. How you doing, Keith? I'm looking forward to seeing you, man. Looking forward to seeing you. Yeah, y'all hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it. And if you got a question, put at T-Roy Cooks, and then your question. That way it'll highlight it on my side. See how Keith Bettag put it in there? He put at T-Roy Cooks, and then his hey Troy. Barbecue Today asks, what's my favorite thermometer and why? Man, I like all of the Thermowork products. All right. In fact, I put the links for them in the my affiliate links in the description because I absolutely love all of their stuff. They're like commercial grade quality. They're really, really heavy duty, made with really good parts, and they last forever, man. Little secret here about me that y'all probably hadn't heard unless you were really, really close watching some of the Harry Sue videos when Harry was over here and I had James, and I think Tom Jones was over here, Tom's Test Kitchen. I think Justin was over here. Bessie Dressy was over here. We had a good time. But I think it was on that crawfish boil video where Harry was over here. I was telling a story. I didn't get it on my footage, but I think one of the others did. And I think they kept it in the video. But the Thermopen, you know, I'll show you. Watch. So I even leave it outside. Thermopen, all right? You open this baby up and it gives you a little display right there, all right? And this new one, the MK4, you can actually turn it and the display is always right side up. It's really, really cool. Really cool, all right? Plus it's lit up. It's got a little thing right there. It tells you when it's dark. You know, if there's no light, it'll put the light on in there. But my story. Y'all gonna think I'm stupid, guys. I've probably bought like 8 of these things because I get them to work for a while, and then I'd be outside cooking, and it's like I couldn't figure out why I couldn't see the display. I even changed batteries in them, all kind of stuff. I was like, you know, and it would work in the house. You know, after I changed the battery and stuff, it worked fine. But I get outside and I didn't see a display. I was like, what's going on, man? Folks, don't laugh too hard. You probably had it happen to you too. Outside, because I've got a pool and want to protect my eyes, a lot of times, most of the time, in fact, I wear polarized sunglasses. You can't see the display with polarized sunglasses. I happened to be cooking on my gas grill one night, and I was trying to read temps, and the thing, I couldn't read it, and I was like, what's going on again, you know? And I swear, I kept buying these things because I kept thinking that, you know, something going wrong with it. I couldn't figure it out. But so I got like 8 of these things. Been giving them out to family and stuff. But yeah, I was hot. My face was all sweaty, so I like did like this and wiped my forehead to get the sweat off. And when I did that, I could see the display. And then I put my glasses back up, and I couldn't. And I was like, "Oh man!" Polarized sunglasses, folks. I felt like an idiot. Anyway, that's just a little inside about me y'all didn't know. Bad Beast Barbecue, what's going on, brother? How you doing, Daryl? Cheers, bro. Aim 'em and claim 'em. What's going on, brother James? How you doing, man? Yeah, Pickles, that was classic, man. I had everybody over here rolling and laughing when Harry was over here and I was telling that story, man. I'm pretty sure somebody got it on their footage and put it in their video. Trent says, doing my first ever smoke this weekend on 18.5 Rubber Smoky Mountain. Any suggestions on the meat and the wood combo for a first timer? Dude, just use whatever wood you have locally. Like here we have pecan and oak and mesquite. So I mainly use pecan and oak because mesquite's a little harsh. Real strong smoke flavor. So use what you have locally. You know, no sense in going and buying real expensive wood that they've had to haul in from someplace else. So depends on how smoky you like your meat too. You know, if you want it kind of mild, woodsy smoke, use pecan or oak. If you want a little more smoke, use some hickory. If you want a little more smoke, use some mesquite. If you want to keep it light, use your fruit woods, man. Any kind of fruit wood will work. Even like grapevine will work, man. But just use what you have locally. Meat combinations, I love pecan with beef. Cherry and peach are real good with pork. But most of the time I use pecan on that as well. Because pecan goes good with everything. So does oak, in my opinion. But like cherry and peach, they'll give like a burgundy type color to the meat and give it a little slight fruity smoke flavor, which is real nice on pork. But beef can handle quite a bit more smoke flavor, so that's why I throw the heavier smoking woods on it, the actual hardwood, you know, woods. Anyway, great question. Thanks, man. Blue Smoke Barbecue Late Show says he's the president of the idiots. Man, I don't know, man. I may have you on that Thermopen story. Marky Big Smoke. There you go. In the UK, he can get birch. Yep, there you go. Birch is cool. That'll work. Yeah, olive wood work. How big of a pork shoulder is too big? Aaron's asking. Aaron Myers. Kind of depends on how much room you got to cook, you know. I usually try to stay with those that are like 8 to 10 pounds. You know, usually about 8 pounds. That's usually what I look for. If it's a couple above or below that, you're fine. You're fine. I think some of the big, huge ones, those are like older pigs, or they really put a lot of hormones into them. I don't know if I'd go that, because they usually have a whole lot of marble in them. I mean, just more fat than meat, from what I've had experience with. Hey, cheers to you, Craig. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for joining in. Any good barbecue oyster recipes? Josh, there are some good ones. Golly, man. Like Oysters Rockefeller. You know, I think I did a version of that. Did I? Can't remember. I know my buddy, I don't really like oysters a whole lot, so you won't see me cooking that very often. You know, it's kind of like salmon. I don't like salmon. But Russ Jones over at Smoky Ribs, man. Y'all check him out. He loves oysters, and he's cooked quite a few recipes on his channel. Tess, how you doing, girl? Tess cooks for you. Cheers to you, Tess. Appreciate you joining. Carry on, Jeff and John. Am I a chef? No, man. No, just a regular backyard barbecue wannabe. West Coast Cajun Cuisine, another good channel. Y'all go check him out, man. I think he did some shrimp and grits the other day, man. I think that's what you did. Anyway, really good. Really look really good. Do you brine chicken before smoking it? No, I usually don't. I'm just a simple guy, man. I don't put a lot of effort into the cooks, all right? Plus, I don't know. Sometimes I have brined turkey before, but chicken, I usually don't. If I want to, I can maybe inject some Cajun seasoning or something in there. You know, a liquid of some Cajun seasoning. That's about all I ever do. Jeremy, 1984, or 1982, sorry, bro. What's up? He says, I'm ready for another cigar. There you go. Oh, speaking of, Whiskey and Barbecue, they're celebrating 1 year on YouTube tomorrow night. I think it's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, where I'm at. So y'all check out his channel. I'm going to try to join his live feed, doing a little whiskey and barbecue, and also talking about what's coming up for the new year on their channel, Whiskey and Barbecue. Y'all can check them out. Yudo Grill, have you ever smoked pork butt from a wild boar? No, I have not. Marky Q says, got some cool Pokemon gifts coming my way. I appreciate that, Marky. Appreciate that, brother. Hey, Marky, I was out just, you know, running around doing errands today, and I happened upon a Pokestop that had the Rocket Team took it over, man. So I got me one of them, you know, after you beat the Rocket Team member, you know, in battle, then if you beat them, they give you a Pokemon that you then can purify. And if you don't want purified, it's got like this purplish haze around it. It's really cool, man. Really cool. Anyway, sorry, we're talking barbecue, but yeah, look forward to those gifts, and I'll keep sending you some back, Marky. Kit Moore asking, let me see, after asking about the LGD, I decided on the 24 by 40. I can barely wait to start cooking on it. Yeah, man, that 24 inch, I still would like to get a 24 inch because those are, I'm just used to the pipe type smokers since I had the Yoder Wichita first. So down the road, I probably am going to get me one of them 24 inch Lone Star grills, and it probably will be the 40 or 42 I think they have. Have you ever cooked lamb breast? Looking for some unusual cuts to cue. Check out exoticmeats.com, I believe is their website. They're out of California, if I remember right. That's where I get all of my different exotic type meats. And they've got some exotic meat, buddy. But check that out. I have not done a lamb breast. I think that's what you asked. I've done rack of lamb, which I love lamb. You know, lamb's really, really good. But yeah, check them out, man. Exotic Meats. I think they only ship 1 day a week, like Tuesday or Thursday or something. So you got to order ahead. You can't just like order and it be there in 2 days. And their meat's frozen. Good stuff, though. I've always had good luck with ordering from them. Culinary undertaking. When I inject pork butt, the final meat always seems to have a mushy texture. Any suggestions? Don't inject. You know, it sounds like maybe you're overcooking it. You know, usually if you overcook, like even pork ribs, the meat's mushy. Not really a lot you can do to get away from that except lessen the cook. You know, so I think you're just overcooking it. Or maybe try, you know, not injecting. See if that is really what the problem is. You know, if it is, maybe you have some vinegar or something in your injection that is actually, you know, or some kind of a citrus juice that's like cooking the meat from the inside, you know. So be careful about all that too. Constantine Kesars, appreciate you. Cheers. Happy cows. Cheers. Jacqueline and Dad's in the house. All right. Greg Dutton says, do you have any other hobbies besides barbecue? Cheers. Yeah, I like stargazing, watching satellites and stuff like that go over, meteor showers. I like fiddling around with my camera, you know, photography and videography. I like watching football, both college and NFL. I like NASCAR. That's about it. Any thoughts on CyberQ, Arturo? Man, and that's another question I get asked quite often. I've actually got a CyberQ. Is it Cyber? Yeah, I do, CyberQ. But I rarely use it. I mean, it worked good for what it's designed to do. But in my instance, where I was like using it on my Lone Star Grill, or I'm sorry, my Yoda Wichita, or my Kamado Joe, or my Weber Smoky Mountain, I found that and I've got the like 25 CFM fan, I got the big fan for it. It just blew so hard, it's blowing ash up into my meat. Plus the probe, I got the 12-foot probe on mine instead of the regular 6-foot, and that 12-foot probe was off by 5 or 7 degrees. So I wound up either undercooking or overcooking a brisket one time, which ticked me off, man. I thought for sure that thing was done. So if you ever, point I'm getting at, if you ever do get you a new device like that, always double check your meat temp probes, either by, you know, put them in some boiling water, or, you know, the other way is put them in freezing water before you use them. Or if you are going to go ahead and use them without testing your probes, then use a known probe like the thermometer here that you know is going to be accurate, and test your temps with this along with what your temps are reading for your DigiQ or your CyberQ, that kind of thing. Make sure that your temps are where you want them. So always have something that you know works if you're testing out something new. Grumpy Grunt's in the house. How you doing, man? Suburban Jim, how you doing, brother? Brent Carter. Cheers, everybody. KAV, T-Roy, you retired? If so, from what? Yes, I am retired. I do YouTube full time. I got a lovely wife that allowed me to retire early, but I did put about 20 years in at a local internet service provider as a security engineer kind of guy. Basically kept hackers out of the network, that kind of thing. S. Booma, get the Oklahoma Joe, or got the Oklahoma thermometer on the UDS. Looking for a digital one because my eyes ain't so good and can't find one. Are there any? Do you know of a brand or something? A digital thermometer. You could leave like a ThermalWorks smoke hooked up to it, or check out Adrenaline Barbecue, man. With Slow and Sear, Adrenaline Barbecue's got a new one out. I think it holds 4 probes, if I remember right, and it has a longer range than the ThermalWorks smoke. If any of you guys know of any digital probes he can like mount to his equipment, put it in the chat or leave it in the comments section. KJ Wild 118, which do you prefer, wired probe or wireless? Which is more accurate? The wired is usually going to be more accurate. Kind of like right now, I'm hardwired to my internet to use this live feed. I can go wireless, but you may have interference. You may have different things happen on the wireless signal as it's being transmitted and received. So hardwired is always the best way to go to minimize any kind of problems. But wireless works. Wireless is fine, you know. The ThermoWorks, I keep mentioning ThermoWorks. The smoke, it's wireless. I love it. I've got 2 of them, in fact. You know, can't say enough about them. They work fine, all the way up through my house too. You know, so they go through walls and stuff. Kit Moore, do you spray the inside and outside of your offset, or just the inside, and how often? When I initially got mine, I sprayed the inside and the outside with like some cooking spray, or you can rub it down with some vegetable oil or peanut oil or whatever you want, and then fire it up and let it do like a burn with no meat on it. And I usually do not put anything on the inside since that first time. Now I do spray the outside with a little bit of mixture of water and oil per the instructions that came with my Lone Star grill, you know, and that kind of helps keep, the little bit of oil helps keep it from rusting, and the water kind of washes it down, you know, and knocks all the dust and cobwebs off of it and stuff. All right, West Coast Cajun cuisine. So I hear that injecting beef tri-tip is a no-no. Your thoughts? I don't listen to anybody else. If I want to inject my tri-tip, I do. You know, it's up to you, man. I will say that when you inject meat, any kind of meat, especially like a white meat, like chicken or turkey or something, when you inject, you're going to get that, like when you're cutting into the meat after it's cooked, you're going to get lines of where the injection was injected. You know, so if that doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me either. You know, it tastes good, adds a little extra flavor. I don't see an issue with injecting tri-tip, man. Go for it. You know, it's yours. Do what you want, man. Mary Bonin, do you have any planting? I see all that greenery behind you. Well, we got some herbs and stuff on the side. We usually, Karen likes to make homemade salsas, so I usually have cilantro growing. I usually have tomatoes, jalapenos, serranos, bell peppers, all that kind of stuff. But this year we just didn't get around to planting much of anything, so all we have still growing are the herbs that lasted through the winter. So I got rosemary, oregano, thyme. I do have a little bit of basil back here right behind me on the ground, and some oregano, I think, is the other one back there. And I got 2 fruit trees. One of them is a lime, and one of them is a mandarin, I believe. Martin, appreciate you, brother. Thanks for that super chat. Cheers to you. Marky Big Smoke, love your fire management video. How do you clean your offset after each cook? I don't clean it after every cook. I just scrape out the ashes after a day or two. You know, let them get nice and cold, and put them in a metal can, let them finish, making sure that they're cold and not on fire anymore. And then I'll eventually, when that can fills up, I'll throw it in the trash. As far as the outside, I just hose it down, man. I get my water hose and I hose it down. Or like I was mentioning earlier, if it needs, I may put a little bit of mixture of oil and water on where it's starting to rust a little bit, if I get a little bit of rust. And my pits actually do rust out here because I've got a saltwater pool, you know. Even like stainless steel and stuff, I can find little spots of like little specks of stuff where I guess the salt water is kind of, you know, I don't know. Anyway, again, thanks to all my moderators out there. Appreciate y'all taking care of the chat for me. Hey man, how many people we got in the views right now chatting? How many people we got? 'Cause I can't see that. Robert Barnes, cheers, brother. How long y'all want to go today? I've been going about half an hour so far. Brian Tarlow, I have a Traeger pellet smoker, and I find that the meat or chicken doesn't get a smoky taste all the way through, which I do get using a wood smoker. Have you found this with pellet grills? Yep, I have, Daniel, and I talk about it often. Every time somebody asks me about a pellet grill, I'm like, yep, they're very convenient. They work well. They cook pretty much anything. They're like an all-around type cooker, but you will not get the same smoke flavor as you would if you cooked on a Weber Smoky Mountain or a real stick burner, an offset. The only way to get that more smoke flavor is to put like a smoking tube in there or something with some pellets and light one in and let it slow smoke all the way through the cook, and stick that smoke tube in the chamber along with the smoke that it's already producing from the cooker. George Neves, have you used a lump in your Weber Smoky Mountain? Yes, I have. I sure have, George. When I did that hot and fast brisket, I used a lump because I wanted to cook about 400 degrees, and it worked. Worked real good. Andrew Wilson, you like the Kamado Joe Guru video. When you're smoking on the Kamado, do you have any tips for a long smoke feeding new wood? No, that's actually pretty hard to do. Yeah, it'd be nice if Kamado made like a little door you can just like, a little chute that you can shoot wood into. But no, really the only thing I know to do is to pull everything out and put your wood and put all your meat and stuff and grills back on. That's, I guess what you could do if you really wanted to. I know like Kamado Joe's got that system of different levels and grills. You can use like, put the meat on like half and then use the full ceramic plate to block the heat and make it like an indirect cook, but put the fire on one side and then use only half of the grill so that you will only have to really basically just reach in when you want to add wood, reach in and pull out the full size plate, the heat, what do you call it? Heat deflector plate. Pull that out, add your wood, and then put that heat deflector back in. That's really the only thing you're having to touch. So that may work for you. Kyle is dead. How about 190 people? There you go, Kyle. Appreciate that, brother. Daniel says, cheers. Thanks for the answer. I hope I did answer it correctly, man. I hope I answered it to your liking anyway. Appreciate you. Daniel Tarlow, there you go. Mireille 21. With the Weber Smoky Mountain, is a barbecue guru or a similar device needed to reach temps of 350 or 400? Nope. I just mentioned it a while ago. I put lump in my Weber Smoky Mountain, and I was able to cook a brisket hot and fast right at 400 degrees, sometimes pushing 425. But that was using lump, and all of my vents at the bottom and top were wide open. I just let it see how hot it would go, and it got up to about 400, 425. And then after I cooked it like that and got the bark situated the way I want, I wrapped the brisket, and then started closing vents down and cooked the rest of the way about 275 or 300. Worked great. S Booma works wonders. Did my whole UDS with it. Came out good as new. Cool. All right. Turn Up the World says, hey T Roy, must be nice sitting in the backyard here in Austin today without 100-degree heat. You are right about that. Definitely right about that, man. In fact, I'm gonna hit the pool after this. Sure, I'm glad I got a pool, man. It's an instant way to cool off. All right, Andrew Wilson, thank you so much. It was a great idea. I'll give that a try. Thanks. Yeah, sure, Andrew. I appreciate the question, man. Yeah, Pickles is right. The WSM door is not great. Ryan Geary, how you doing, brother? Cheers to you. I've been averaging about 250 people watching the live chats here lately. That's pretty good. Ain't too bad. Appreciate everybody that joins in, because I know this time of day a lot of you guys are at work. So, and then I've got my crowd from the UK over there. They're off work. It's early evening for them. So I appreciate everybody. There you go. Marky Big Smoke just said it's 100 in London. Carell Weiss. Now, Carol, see, it didn't highlight on my end because you misspelled cooks. Did you try the Weber charcoal briquettes from Baby Back? Yeah, I do. I did. I like them. In fact, I still got 3 or 4 bags. So, yes, you'll see me using those in the future. Andrew Cole says 65 in Seattle. Maybe summer will start soon. Yeah. Shane Parrish, how you doing, brother? Cheers to you, Shane. Chicken Fried's in the house. What's going on, Bill? Zach Payne, do you ever do anything different when doing brisket on a green egg or a Joe? Not really. I don't. Whatever cooker you're using, it's just it's a source of heat and smoke. They all cook the same way. The only difference is really, I guess you could say, the flavor of the meat and how much smoke flavor that it puts into the meat as it's cooking. That's really the differences. Zach Corber, I'm going to try to smoke a small brisket on a 22-inch kettle. My first time trying. Any tips or advice? Just cook indirect, man. Try to start off with maybe your top and bottom vent, half open. Let's see where that gets you. And you will have to rotate your brisket. Just make sure you rotate it, spin it 180 about every hour or so. or every 30 minutes just for even cooking. But it'll work fine. Just go indirect. You know, put your fire on one side with some smoke. Put your meat on the other side. Put your vent from the lid over the meat, so you got that convection going over the meat. It'll work great, man, and you'll love it. I bet you'll love it. Love cooking brisket and stuff on that offset. Man, these questions are coming in hot and fast, y'all. Appreciate it. If I miss your question, ask it again or put it in the comment section. I'll grab it and answer it on a future chat. BK Perry, how you doing, Big Chris? T-Roy, yo, buddy. Best spritz bottle for the brisket. I just use cheap ones, man, like for $1. I can get them over at my local hardware store. You know, I don't go with the top brand stuff. I don't even know what's out there, Big Chris. George says 67 in Massachusetts. Cheers from Stockholm, all the way from Stockholm. Thomas 11, there you go. Cheers to you, brother. Craig, sweet. To avoid bad smoke, do you add charcoal directly to rub smoky mountain when heat dies down? You fire more coals in a chimney. He's got the 14.5, so long cooks and need to add more coals. Yeah, that makes sense. I just add more charcoal unlit to the charcoal that's still lit. And that kind of keeps the minion method going, you know, or the snake method, whatever you want to call it, that you're using. So I don't light them ahead of time, because if I do that, then it's going to raise the heat inside the cooker. Whereas if I just put unlit charcoal on top of the ones that are already lit in there, then the lit ones will slowly start lighting the ones I just added, and that'll kind of keep a constant heat going in there. I hope that makes sense. Appreciate it, Raymond. Raymond Couvion. Cheers, brother. Jonathan Hicks says, I'm normally sleeping at this time. I work nights. Oh, Jonathan, well, I appreciate you joining in, man. Cheers to you. Tobman555, greetings from the UK. Then my first ever brisket hot and fast this weekend came out good. Used some Costco whiskey sauce and the juices from the whole point for the burn-ins. Awesome, man. I'm glad that worked out for you, bro. Yeah, I'm glad. And hot and fast works real good, doesn't it? Save you a lot of time. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Enjoyed your cook. Ah, appreciate that. Thank you, Toberman. Toberman555. Cheers, bro. Almost 40 minutes in, man. It is kind of hot out here. Let's see what the temperature is here in Austin. Let me see. 89 degrees. That ain't too bad. I think it hit like 98 yesterday. Scott Dale Tim. I'm smoking salmon on my Weber kettle as I watch. 142 degrees, a good temp. You know, I really don't know, man. I don't cook salmon. I would say just cook it until it starts getting flaky on you. 120 Fahrenheit. Oh, man. Cajun Country. There you go. Yep. See, I knew how to pronounce Couvion. There you go, Raymond. Grumpy Grunt. What's my favorite game meat? Probably venison. You know, is frog considered a game? I like frog. Frog legs. Fried up. Ooh, yeah. 200. Appreciate that, Bill. What do I think of Franklin's barbecue? Franklin was good. You know, it was real good. It just, the meat was overcooked for me, but that's what most people like, is meat that's really, really fall apart tender. So, you know, for the normal folk, yeah, Franklin's is great. Ty Blessing says he's going to smoke a chuck roast and I want to marinate it. What marinade would I use? It's just a crazy idea. Man, I really don't marinate my meat. Chuck roast? I really don't marinate stuff, man. If I do, I usually just get some off-the-shelf stuff. You know? I can't even think of the name of any of them right now. I remember one's got a picture of an old man. I can't remember the name. You can always try just Italian seasoning too, the salad dressing in a bottle. I like using the Zesty. That works good. K-Town Fishing, 40 minutes in and only one beer gone. Yep. I'm fixing to get on with it. This is my last sip of this one. Yep, it's gone. All right, let me chunk this one real quick and get me another one. I got my rooster beer. El Grito Lager. This is from Four Corners Brewing out of Dallas. I think y'all seen me, get over here, boy. I think y'all seen me use this one before. I want y'all to notice something. This lid, the whole top comes off. Watch. See there? The whole top is open right there. I show you, but it's spilled. Whole thing comes off. Cheers. This is another one of my favorites. Kip asks, did I have to pick up my offset or have it shipped? I've had both of my offsets shipped to me, and they delivered them and helped me put them in the backyard. Both of them. Bateman 61405. Wood chunks under or on top of the charcoal to rub a Smoky Mountain. I did it both ways and last time and got the perfect smoke flavor. Thoughts? I usually just throw it on top. I know Harry Sue says to throw your charcoal on top of your wood chunks so that they'll smolder more and give you more smoke flavor. And if you throw them on top like I do, then they burn quicker. But I'm not a fan of real smoldery type smoke flavors, so that's why I put mine on top. It does work either way. You know, either way, whatever suits your fancy, you know. That's what makes cooking fun, man. It's personal. You know, put your own personality into it. Put love into it. You know, make it your own. That's what I keep trying to tell all you guys. That's what the essence of cooking is, man. Put your heart into it. Makes it fun. You know, and that's when you put your time and your effort and your love into what you're doing, then people will taste that when they eat the food that you've cooked. So it's good stuff. BK Perry, kind of not what kind of spray bottle, but what do they put in a spray bottle to spray brisket? Oh, okay. I'm sorry, BK. My buddy Big Chris, been a long time fan of mine. Big Chris. A lot of times I just use like some beef broth, you know, or beef stock actually, and you can use water. Sometimes I even use a little sweetener like some white grape juice or some apple juice. You know, you can also use orange juice. Just whatever suits your fancy, man, you know. Change it up, like I was just saying. Make it your own. Do your own thing with it, you know. Sometimes I like my meat to have a little sweetness to it, so I'll put a little white grape juice on there. It works good, gives it a nice little extra color. So, and it also helps get that black bark on there too. If you put something with some sugary substance in the broth, in the spritz, dang man, I can't talk. Yeah, if you got something sugary that's in the spritz bottle, like some kind of fruit juice, it will help get that bark like black. Okay. Jonathan Hicks says, where'd you get the fancy koozie? I got this actually in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but they do sell them at my local academy. But I found them in Louisiana first, even though Yeti is a company based out of Austin. It's made by Yeti. S. Neil 5966 says he's trying to decide if running an offset on charcoal is worth doing or get some sleep on. Worth doing to get sleep on overnight cooks. What are my thoughts on that? Ever tried that? I have not tried that, but I know my brother has, along with some other friends. It will work, but the problem you're going to have is charcoal briquettes do not provide enough heat to keep your offset hot, because usually offsets have a pretty good wall of metal thickness, you know, and you've got to maintain some heat in that firebox to keep that metal hot, which also feeds into your cooking chamber. So in instances where I've heard of people trying that, the charcoal did not work as well as they had hoped because they couldn't maintain the temps that they wanted to. The temps were lower. You may try using some lump, but lump will burn faster and hotter. I guess it depends on how much charcoal you're wanting to try to use too. And maybe, I know some offset companies, even Lone Star Grills, they make a charcoal basket that has dividers spaced in it that you can move around and make pour charcoal in and make it like the snake method. You know, so it winds its way through your charcoal basket, and I think it's about yay tall. So it'll hold a lot of charcoal, like a bag or maybe 2 bags of charcoal. Give it a shot. I've never tried it. Christopher Chow says, greetings, T-Roy. Hey, cheers to you, Christopher. What's he say? Hang on, I almost lost it. Hang on, y'all. I'm getting parched. Hang on. All right, Chris says, have you ever barbecued pulled pork barbecue for a next day barbecue? If so, have you any suggestions for reheating the food the next day? I have done that. I have. Usually what I do is go ahead and pull it after I let it rest. You know, I'll go ahead and pull it and just put it in a freezer bag or some kind of something container and put it in the fridge. And then the next day, what I'll do is I'll take it, put it in a pot or something, and warm it on the stove with a little bit of water or some barbecue sauce would be even better. You know, just enough to kind of moisten it back up and serve it that way. It works great. Yeah, leftovers are good stuff, man. Ken K, cheers to you, brother. Bill, I appreciate you joining, man. Go ahead and get back to work, my friend. Have a good day. Hope all y'all have a great day. Stang Man, what's up? Lots cooler today. We got a few cool days. Yep, sure do. Good to fire up the grill without being so hot. You got that right, man. You're right. KJ Wildman, would you recommend burning your racks for your offset before each cook, or does the heat from the firebox do the job of sanitizing them? I usually just let the cooker come up to temp, and then once it's up to temp, then I'll just use a brush to scrape my grill grates, you know, and I put the meat on and start cooking. So I don't like get a propane torch or anything and torch them if that's what you're asking. I just let the cooker heat them up to the normal cooking temps, and then I scrape them. KJ Wildman, would you recommend... Oh, I'm sorry, just ask that one. Okay. Have you tried any Swedish beers? No, I haven't, Thomas. I have not, man. I'd ask you to send me some, but I don't think they can get through customs. Maybe I'll tell you what. I'll look to see if I can find some Swedish ones here locally at maybe some of my beer places I go to. I got a real good beer store here, y'all. I know I can find beers from all around the world, but I don't remember seeing any from Sweden. All right. Cheers from Dale in Oregon City. Appreciate that, Dale. Do you think most people prefer ribs on an offset or a pellet smoker? I'd say most people probably a pellet, because that's what they've got, or that's what their neighbors have had to cook on, and when they go to their parties, they've got a pellet that they're cooking on. Most people do not have an offset. Most people want to have an easy cook, so they get you a pellet. And those that have had an offset, though, I guarantee you, they know the food difference in flavor from the two different cookers, you know. A lot more flavor from the offset. Craig Sweet, do you have any preference brand of brisket knives? You know, most of the time what I use is just a Victorinox slicing knife. It's got the little grooves in it. I forget what they call it. No, it's fixed gratin. That's not what it's called. Anyway, it's a Victorinox. I got it for like maybe $20 on Amazon, you know. But my normal everyday knives that I use are Wusthof. I love Wusthof knives. Cooking with CJ, how you doing, brother? Cheers to you. Glad you can join us. I'm about to end this thing, man. So you're catching us right at the end. I don't think I've seen you in here. Oh yes, a slow and sear hat from Adrenaline Barbecue, man. Odo Pops, chin chin, chin chin. I heard about Booger's little dog Marvin, man. I hope Marvin's gonna be all right. Sending prayers to Booger and Marvin and Tom over there. Gazoo29. T-Roy's just wondering what you do for a living. I understand you can't share being a live chat room. No, I don't mind sharing. I talk about it often, man. I get asked quite often. This is my job. I do YouTube full time. I'm retired. I talked about it earlier in the show. I worked for an ISP for like 20 years. as a security engineer for the network. But I'm retired now. I've got a wonderful wife that allows me to retire early and do what I want to do, which is entertain you fine folks and share the love of cooking and teach where I can when applicable. Yeah, Oak Ridge boys, the Black Ops is wonderful, BK Perry. There you go, brother. I love that Black Ops. That's really, really good. Oak Ridge barbecue, y'all. Do. All right, guys. I guess I'm going to shut this down and I'm here in about 10 minutes. That'll give me an hour. So if you got any last minute questions, hit me. Man, I'm going to make a quick trip this coming weekend. Justin is actually, Baby Back Maniac, my brother from a different mother. He's actually driving through Louisiana, headed to go on vacation somewhere else, another state. But he's somewhere on the Gulf Coast, I think. Anyway, he's driving through Louisiana, close to where my grandma lives and where I grew up, around Baton Rouge. And I know my grandma, Mama Jean. I've seen videos on her, and y'all probably have talked to her on Facebook. She's on Facebook, y'all. But she's 93 years old, and she's always wanted to meet Justin, and vice versa. Justin wanted to meet her. So I said, Justin, you're going to be passing right through there, man. I'm going to meet Justin this weekend in Baton Rouge, take him to see my grandma, and we're going to spend a couple hours with her and hang out, and then I'm going to drive right back home Sunday. So should be a nice, quick trip, but it should be fun. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing Mama Jean and Justin get to hang out together. Pickles says, when's our collaboration, T-Roy Cooks? Pickles, remind me, man. I got so much going on. I don't remember a collaboration, bro. Cuffin stuff. Do I inject Boston butt for pulled pork? No, I don't. Boston butt, man, and any kind of like pulled pork like that, it's you got so much marbling and fat in there. It just, you don't need to inject it, in my opinion. I mean, you can if you want some little extra flavor, but I usually just put the flavor on the outside as a rub. Cider Talbert 2. Oh, Mick Cotton's in the house. How you doing, brother? Firebox on LSG makes a great pizza oven. Cheers from Los Angeles. Yeah, you're right. It sure does. It sure does. Makes a great pizza oven. Or you grill a steak too. Does that real good too. Right over. I love grilled steak, grilled right over a wood fire. Man, that imparts so much flavor into the meat, into the steak. It's good stuff. Dean D says if I put a half a bottle of cheap whiskey in the water pan along with water on your Weber Smoky Mountain, it'll make the brisket dry. I don't think it will. It shouldn't. No, it may add a little bit of flavor. Not much, but no. I don't think. I mean, whiskey's made for drinking, man, unless you want to inject it. Now, that'll work if you want to inject the brisket with it. Woo, doggy. I don't think it'll dry it out. Howdy from soggy Covington, Georgia. B. Henry, how you doing, B. Henry? Steve Thompson says I need to record some more Mama Jean old time stories this weekend. I think Justin may. I may try. I'm still debating whether I want to bring my camera equipment and stuff. We'll see. I mean, it's just going to be such a quick trip because Justin's got to hit the road again, you know. Otherwise, I would definitely be doing it. I honestly, when I was talking to Justin about doing this, I thought we was going to be able to spend like a whole day with Mama Jean, you know. But he wants to get on the road, and he's got his family with him, so they're going on vacation. I don't want to interfere with their vacation. Oh, my boy Professor, the Hickory Smoked Tuna, he's got a question. Says he's curious if I would recommend someone getting a high-end smoker for their first smoker if they have the money, or would I recommend someone getting a cheaper smoker first? If you've got the money, I'd say go ahead and get you a good smoker. Because if you buy a cheaper one, you're going to wind up getting the more expensive one later anyway. And if you go ahead and get the more expensive one, you can learn how to cook on it, and you'll be ahead of the game. Whereas if you get a cheaper one, you're going to have to learn how to cook on that one, and then it's going to be totally night and day compared to cooking on a really nice cooker because of the build quality differences. So what you may find that works on the cheaper one, because it's not as well built, you're chasing temps all the time, it's going to eat wood like crazy, so it's going to go through wood. It's not very fuel efficient. You probably don't have adequate airflow going around the meat, so you may have to see where your hot spots are and move meat around and stuff. Whereas on the well-built one, it's going to be more fuel efficient. You're going to get a real nice smoke flavor in your meat. You shouldn't get any hot spots if you know how to set it up, and it's going to be overall a much better experience for you in the long run. So if you got the money, go ahead and get a good one. Kathy DeGraw, have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you again. I will, Kathy. I'll tell Karen that you said hey. I got one of my fans from St. Louis coming to visit me this next week. Is it next week? Yeah, next week. And I'm going to go hang out with her and meet her and maybe not share a beer, but, you know, let her buy me a beer. Anyway, looking forward to meeting you, Donna. Cheers, girl, if you're watching. Let's see. Andy Black Moonshine hasn't done a video in forever. I know, Andy, I know. I keep telling him. But he just makes videos on a whim whenever he feels like it. You know, he's just busy. And as a diesel mechanic all week, he doesn't want to, you know, he just wants to rest on the weekends. And I can't blame him for that, man. Hell, he's only a year younger than me. So I know in the evenings and on the weekends, I like to relax. And I'm sure he does too. He's actually being a mechanic, doing a lot more physical work than I do. Probably the most physical thing I do is get up out of a chair. Or climb out of my pool. Glad I could help you, Professor. That was a good question, man, about the good versus the bad offset starting out. All right, guys, I got 3 minutes till I've been on here for an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and call this one. I can't thank all of you guys enough, and gals, for joining in. All my fans over in the UK, thank you very much. All you folks that are here in the States that are working, or over in Australia that are working, thank you very much for joining in. If it's your first time here, this is where I answer your questions. If you've got a question for me, put it in the comment section down below. Just hit show more for anything in the description you're interested in. I put affiliate links in there along with my social media and stuff. But below that's the comments. Just ask your question in the comment section. I'll add it to a future chat, and then we will go from there, okay? Next week will be a taped one. I may not do one next week. I may still be kind of tired from the trip to Louisiana this weekend. It's going to be a quick turnaround trip, man. I'm going to be on the road 16, 18 hours. It's going to be, yeah, so I may not do one next Tuesday. But I'll do one soon, the following week, if not next Tuesday. And folks, I got a pretty good video coming up this Thursday, a couple of days from now. Y'all check that out. I'm cooking some ribs on the Weber Smoky Mountain. Hadn't used my Weber Smoky Mountain in a while, so it felt good to fire it back up. We're going to do that. But yeah, thanks again all my moderators. Appreciate you guys handling the chat for me, taking care of any of the nuisance out there, keeping everything family safe. I appreciate it very much. Thanks again all my fans. Love you guys. And we will see y'all here soonish. We'll see how I feel after this weekend. But if y'all like this, y'all give me some thumbs up. Hope you share the video, and when you do, please tell all your friends. T-Roy cooks responsibly. Cheers, everybody. We'll see y'all next time. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Man, it's amazing how fast time flies when you're having fun. All right, guys. We'll catch y'all next time. Cheers.